Today, you'll learn why the 30-year fixed rate loan can be the most powerful wealth tool available to everyday investors, how fixed payments, rent, inflation work together over time, and how the simple moves to a lower risk and sleep at night is very important, and you're going to find out how to get those things as well. Now, stay to the end for 5 actions that you can take this week. And if it helps, follow The Advisor with Stacey Chillemi on Apple and Spotify, and subscribe on our YouTube at Stacey Chillemi Advisor, and drop a 5-star review so more people can find it. Now, my guest today is a very special guest. I'm very excited to have him on the show today. It's Adiel Gorel, and he is a real estate investor and educator known for making the 30-year fixed strategy simple and practical. Adiel, it's a pleasure to have you on the show. I'm so excited because this is a topic that's not really talked about. But before we begin, I really would like you to just introduce yourself and tell everybody a little about yourself.
Hi, Stacy. It's a pleasure to be here. My background is actually, in high tech. I'm a Silicon Valley guy. I used to teach at, the university and live in Palo Alto and work in Silicon Valley. Started investing because I saw that even the big Silicon Valley salaries have not made my more experienced colleagues wealthy enough. So I wanted to build my own, empire, and it rolled around. I was helping all my friends until I finally formalized it and formed a company that has helped thousands of people utilize a glaring and unbelievable gift given, to the best of my knowledge, only in the US. And we'll talk about that, how it can build wealth for everyone.
Wow, that sounds amazing. Now, in plain English, why do you call the 30-year fixed rate loan a gift for regular people?
Probably the best way to describe it is what happens when I get invited to speak in another country. So here I am in Europe, and I tell the Europeans, my Americans can get a loan called 30 years fixed. They
Mhm.
ask, what does it mean? I said, well, like the name implies, the monthly payment, principal and interest, is always the same. It is always fixed no matter what happens. And also the loan balance, how much you owe, even though it goes down with the principal payments every month, it also doesn't peg to any inflations or anything. The
Right.
Europeans are very harsh with me. They say, excuse me, sir, you clearly don't know what you're talking about. What you're saying is impossible. I can't believe I drove 100 kilometers to hear you speak. And we're going to prove to you how silly you are with logic. Are you ready? I'm ready. So they say, you have inflation in the US, right? Right. Always, right? Yes. Sometimes high, sometimes low, but it's always there. True? Yes. 40 years ago, they say, you bought a postage stamp in the US for 4 cents. Today
Mhm.
it's 78 cents or something like this.
Yeah.
40 years ago, you went to the movies in San Francisco for $2. Today it's $15.
Yep.
If you go to Whole Foods today and you buy a beautiful organic, avocado, it's going to be $3. You
Right.
know, we know, everybody knows in 10 years, it's probably going to cost $6.
Exactly.
How in this environment, where the price of everything going up and up and up and up because the dollar gets weaker and weaker, you need more dollars to buy the same goods. How
Yep.
will anybody be stupid enough to give you a loan? That'll be the only thing in the US economy never to budge while everything gets away from it, getting higher and higher and higher and higher. If
Right.
that were true, which it cannot be true because you're stupid and you don't know what you're talking about, they say, inflation will become your very best friend. It will erode the real value of your debt, and you're not going to have to wait for 30 years. Very likely in 10, 12, 14 years, your loan is going to be so tiny because inflation has hammered it down. You'll build equity, you will get wealthy. That's too good to be true. Not possible. Therefore, you don't know what you're talking about. QED. Very powerful arguments. Then I say, I noticed that you have your phones. Care to do a little search? They say, oh my God, you really have this unbelievable thing in the US. The next question is always the same. The European asked me, if the Americans can get this unbelievable gift that builds your future, that builds your wealth, why don't they all run out to get as many of those gifts as they can? My
Mhm.
answer is always the same. I don't know, but I sure did.
Mhm.
So I've been doing this for 41 years. I could have retired, thanks to all of this, well over 25 years ago. Why am
Right.
I still doing it? Why am I on your podcast? Because nobody in the United States thinks about this. Why? They were born into it and they think a 30-year fixed rate loan is normal. The
Yeah.
only American who thought about this before I explained it is Warren Buffett, who was in touch with me in 2012, and he already thought about this, but he's already wealthy, he's not very young. So my message is a life change. Since I've been doing it for 41 years, the results are in. People
Yeah.
have retired, people have, so here is a typical story, typical. By the way, how do you harness the power of this gift?
Mhm.
These loans are usually given on property.
Right.
And the 30-year fixed rate loan will only be given on 1 to 4 residential properties. So it's typically single family homes. So you
Right.
buy single family homes and then you get the 30-year fixed rate loan. You only put a down payment, that's all.
Right.
You let a local property manager, and I'll talk about that in a second, lease it for you. And then all you have to do is wait and let time and inflation. Your loan started out like this,
Mhm.
inflation and time. In 12 years, it's going to look like this. You have built equity. So here's a typical story. I like to buy homes, not necessarily where I live. You told me you're in the New York, area. That's an expensive area. I'm in the San Francisco area, very expensive. I don't buy in places like this. So I like to buy the single family homes in large metropolitan areas,
Mhm.
preferably in the suburbs. Why the suburbs? Because families with kids, it's very stable. The kids go to school. It's like a root in the ground. In the Sunbelt states, why the Sunbelt states and what is the Sunbelt states? Sunbelt
Right.
states to me are the states in the southern part, like Nevada, Arizona, Oklahoma, Texas, Louisiana, Alabama, Georgia, Florida. Why don't I want to buy in the north or in the Midwest? Because I've been a student of the demographics in this country for many decades, and it's clear the demographic trend goes to the south. So
Yeah.
southern states, large metropolitan area for job diversity, suburbs. I like to buy brand new homes under
Mhm.
warranty, easy, no complication, and then put a down payment. Now, in order to do it for myself, and I bought more homes than anyone that I know, I needed
Mhm.
to set up an infrastructure to handle the homes. I'm in the San Francisco Bay Area. I'm not gonna manage a home in Dallas. So in
Right.
all the markets that I deemed right, my team and I created the local team, so to speak, local property managers who really love us because they get so much business from us, local
Right.
brokers who know the area very well and find us properties. So I
Right.
can talk to you now while owning an inordinate amount of properties, and I don't have to fix a toilet because I have property managers doing it for me. And
Right.
I'm happy to help anybody from the whole world, which I do the same. So, you buy those single family. Now, because we like to buy in affordable markets, not in San Francisco, New York. So, even these days, when we are talking here, we can buy a home for not much more than $200,000, brand new, with
Yeah.
builder's warranty and everything. And in some places, 300,000, but you get the fixed rate loan. So here is a typical story to illustrate how this thing works. And I have thousands of such stories. I get a call from one of my investors. He says, "Remember me? I worked in Silicon Valley.
Mhm.
I started buying properties with you in my early 40s. I bought only one home because I wasn't sure the property managers really could rent it out and take care of all, because I was busy in my Silicon Valley job. Then when
Yeah.
I saw, yeah, it's rented and the managers take care of everything, I bought another one, another one. I heard you message about the 30-year fixed rate loan. So I wanted to maximize my gift and also stretch my dollars. So I put a
Mhm.
small down payment and I bought another home, another home. I ended up buying 19 houses. By the way, not as impressive as it sounds, because at the time he was buying those homes when he was in his early 40s, he was buying brand new homes for about $150,000 each with only a down payment. For somebody making a Silicon Valley salary was not very hard. He says, Last year, I turned 55.
Mhm.
I looked at my 19 homes, and even though they started out with the loans being very high because I put a small down payment, after 13 years in this case, my loans were all about 1/4 of the value of the home. I was very ecstatic because over 19 homes, it was millions of dollars in equity. But then
Yeah.
I took it one step further, he says. I sold 5 of the homes, sold them, didn't do
Yeah.
anything fancy, no 1031 exchanges, nothing. Sold and paid my tax. Used the proceeds from the 5 sales after tax to pay off the tiny remaining loans on the 14 other homes. And with 14 free and clear homes, I retired from my Silicon Valley job at 55. Thank
Mhm.
you, thank you, thank you. And then he adds the one sentence that everyone always says in the future: I should have bought more.
Mhm.
This is how it works. And I'm very passionate about it. I can't tell you how many thousands of people sent their kids to the best universities in the country without even flinching. It was so easy. Retired, and some just got plain wealthy. I mean, I have people who bought 100 homes. That's a wealthy person later on when they're free and clear. That's a wealthy person. But also, on the other end of the spectrum, I have people who bought one home. And they say, you know what? Now that this home is free and clear, it brings in more money every month to my family. I met a lady in a foreign country just recently. She lives there. She has 3 homes. They're free and clear now. That enables her to live there. I was in a big city in another country just now. I just came back. I met with
Mhm.
one of my investors. He lives there with his family. He said, those 10 homes that we bought are the only reason we can live here retired in a country and live very well. So this
Yeah.
message is not a joke.
Right. It sounds amazing. And I don't think a lot of people even know how to do that. Can you walk
Exactly.
us through the trio that makes this work, like fixed payments, rent over time, and then inflation? Like, how does it work? Because like I can guarantee you a lot of people have no clue how this works or how to go about it.
Okay. So, on my TEDx talk, I actually say what the steps are. Uh, One, buy a brand new home in an affordable, large metropolitan area in the Sunbelt states in the suburbs. Put only a small down payment and get a 30-year fixed rate loan. We all know how to do that. And if you don't, I'll help you with it. I'm very passionate about this.
Hmm.
Number 3, let the local property manager, because we have an infrastructure in all those markets, lease out the home for you.
Hmm.
Number 4, do the hardest step for a human being to do.
Right.
Nothing. Nothing. Just nothing. Just wait. Now you look at this thing 12 years later. I'm not even talking about the fact that the rents keep going up as the years go by and all. Look at it and you're going to find your loans are tiny. So however many homes you bought, you've built equity. If you bought 6 homes, you can sell 2, pay the other 4. Now you have 4 free and clear homes. 4 is not enough, make it 7. 7 not enough, make it 10. 10 not enough, make it 50. I don't care. Each one such home is a building block using the unbelievable gift given to Americans, which the Americans were born into it, so they don't realize it's a gift. The 30-year fixed rate loan. And you never have to wait for 30 years, never. It's usually
Right.
12 to 14 years. So I want to make it clear, this is not a get rich quick in 1 year flip, no. But if
Right.
you let 12 to 14 years go by, it will make you stronger beyond anything that you have dreamt.
Wow. Now, who is this not for? Like, what mindset or situation says don't do it yet?
Yeah, I get calls sometimes from people, let's say they listen to my TED Talk or they watched, my PBS a TV special and they got excited and they tell me, oh, I want to do it. Okay, good. What do you do? Oh, I'm not employed yet. I'm young. And do you have enough money for a down payment? No, I don't. So yeah, then they shouldn't do it yet. I mean, but typically the profile is almost everyone, as long if you have a job, a steady job, you can get those great loans. By the
Yeah,
way, I talked about a Silicon Valley person, and I have a lot of those because that's my background too. But
right.
I've worked with nurses, teachers, truck drivers. To buy a $220,000 brand new home, your salary as a truck driver is quite enough. So,
Hmm.
in fact, I'm almost more excited about teachers doing it than some hotshot in Silicon Valley who is already pretty wealthy.
Wow. Now, when it comes to property type or loan basics, like what works best for like the 30-year fix, like 1 to 4 units or 20 to 25 down and so forth?
Yeah. So again, the 30-year loan, this incredible gift, is only given on 1 to 4 residential units. That means a single family home, a duplex, a triplex, or a fourplex. That's it. If you go to 5 units, you don't get the 30-year fixed rate loan anymore. Now, primarily we like to buy single family homes, or sometimes we buy duplexes in good areas, but they
Hmm.
achieve the same thing. Now, today, even if you want to put the minimum down payment, it's typically 20%. And in
Yeah.
fact, what I notice is a lot of people choose to put 25% because you get a better rate. Okay, 20 to 25, percent. So if you have a job and you don't have to be making a ton of money, remember, sometimes when I talk to people who live in the San Francisco Bay Area or in New York, they all think properties are $1 million, 2 million, 3 million. So they say, I don't make enough. No, when you buy a property for 250,000, let's say,
Yeah.
you can make a salary of 70,000 a year, and it's quite enough to qualify for those. So
Right.
if you have a job and if you saved up for a down payment, what's the down payment? Let's do a quick calculation. Let's say you buy a home for $250,000 and you put
Hmm.
20% down, which I would do. So 20% of $250,000 is $50,000 plus closing costs. Let's call it $60,000. So you need $60,000. And some people tell me, wow, you talk about people who bought 10 homes and 20 homes and 50 homes. How do they have all these down payments? Strangely, it starts rolling by itself. I'll give you an example. When I
Hmm.
began many years ago, I had a home and the tenants were there for 3 or 4 years. They wrote to me. This was before texting. They wrote to me and said, we really like living here. We want to buy the home from you. I said,
Yeah.
I haven't planned on selling it, but if you want to make me an offer, please do. They made me a very fair, offer. I sold the home and I did a 1031 tax deferred exchange from this
Hmm.
one home into 4 brand new homes. So it rolled by itself. So as the
Right.
years go by, you find that your portfolio rolls by itself. You don't need to just have another down payment. Of course, in the beginning you do, but I
Yeah.
mean, people to take advantage of it. And of course, the younger you are when you start, the sooner the 12 to 14 years will come. But I have
Right.
people calling me to only get started in their 60s. And I have
Yeah.
an investor right now, a retired physician, who started investing with me at age 84. 84, she
Wow.
started. So she's now 90, she's still buying. Why is that? Number one, she is in very good shape. But number two, her children. So in this country, there are many gifts for this kind of stuff. One of them I already said, it's a 30-year fixed rate loan. Another gift, which she was aware of because her late husband had passed and she saw it in action, it's called the step up basis. People can look up what a step up basis is. But to summarize, when a person passes away, all of those properties, their basis for the sake of taxes rises to the value of the property on the day of death. So if their
Hmm.
heirs try to sell the property the next day, there's no tax. So that's why I have people who are buying with us starting in their 70s, 80s, 60s. But clearly, if you can start young, it's great. I have people from Silicon Valley starting in their 30s and 29s and 40. Doesn't matter. Any time is good. And recently, I had to send my kids to college. Well,
Hmm.
you don't feel it when you own houses like this.
Right. That's amazing. Now, when it comes to market filters, like what 5 metrics do you screen before you buy?
It's a very good question. So in the beginning, I did a lot of analytical work, and my staff also. We would travel, we would interview, we would look at data. Today, the data is laid out for you on the web. You even have, the artificial, intelligence to help you with. But basically, I try to simplify the message. Most people like to complicate things, especially people from Silicon Valley. Everything is in Excel. I try to simplify. So I'm just saying, if you buy in large metropolitan areas, in the Sunbelt states that are affordable and growing, you should be good. So,
Right.
markets where we have bought throughout our history are Las Vegas, Phoenix, Dallas, Austin, Houston, San Antonio, the Oklahoma City market, the Tulsa market, Mobile, Alabama, in Florida, all the 4 big markets, in Georgia, in Atlanta, many other markets like that. Now, some of the markets that I mentioned are not appropriate right now. For example, Phoenix, where we bought more than 3,000 properties over 21 years. Now the prices have gone up way too fast relative to the rent. It doesn't make sense to buy in Phoenix now, nor does it make sense to buy in Vegas. So those things change. As of today, we are buying a lot in Oklahoma City, in Tulsa, Oklahoma, Mobile, Alabama. Dallas, Texas became too high, and now it came back to us. We are buying there again. Austin, Texas became too high. Now it came back to earth. We are buying there again, etc.
Right.
And so the most expensive market we are still buying in is Raleigh-Durham, the Research Triangle in North Carolina. We are still buying there. It's the most expensive one. We are buying homes there from the high 200 to the mid 300s. Now, one thing that people have to realize, this is a long-term investment. It will absolutely change your future. However, it doesn't necessarily have to provide you with strong cash flow from day one. Today,
Right.
the mortgages are in the 6s. When you put only 20% down, you have a 6+ rate, your cash flow is going to be around break even, maybe a little positive, maybe a little negative.
Right.
First year or two, I consider your salary, the income you have, or your business to be your
Right.
cash. But as the years go by, the monthly payment, principal and interest is always the same. Your rent goes up, so it'll give you more and more and more and more positive, but it doesn't have to feed you from day one. I
Right.
worked with a couple where they were both software engineers.
Mhm.
Together they made $700,000 a year. And they go, I don't know that we should buy this home because it has $40 a month negative. Really? Don't you make 700,000 a year? You think you're not going to be able to buy food? They got it. And of course, it was negative 40, then it was positive 60 and positive 100 and positive, so remember, it's a long-term investment. Now, one thing that's very ironic, in the last few years, as interest rates went up from the super low depths of the pandemic, and
Yeah.
they doubled. The media has been scaring people not to do anything, sit on the sideline and wait until the rates go down. Well,
Right.
ironically, many of the builders who build these brand new homes that we buy are
Mhm.
eager to get people to buy them. So they give you
Right.
gifts, including buying down the rate. So we
Right.
have markets where the builder will buy down the rate to 4.0, fixed for 30 years, maybe even
Right.
3.9. So the rates are actually very low now when the builders are buying down for you. Now, having been in the trenches, unlike the people who write in the media, I can tell you, when the rates were super low, 3%, 2.5%, the media was saying, buy, buy, the rents are, millions of people descended and wanted to buy.
Yeah.
Builders were still suffering from supply chain problems with COVID. So
Mhm.
the supply was low, the demand was high, prices shot up like crazy. It was very difficult to buy.
Mhm.
And builders actually said, I have so much business, I can afford to be picky. I don't even want to work with investors, only homeowners. So it was very difficult to buy. Now, the media is scaring everyone. The builders are so friendly. They love investors. They want to buy down our rates. When the media says, wait until the rates go down, guess what? When the rates go down again, the media is going to jump and say, buy, buy. Everybody's going to rush in. Demand's
Yeah.
going to be high. Supply is not going to match. Prices are going to shoot up. It's going to be a nightmare to buy. So the savvy investor buys now, and if the rates go down, you refinance.
Right. That's amazing. Now, when it comes to cash flow realism, how do you underwrite vacancy or maintenance and, CapEx so it surprises and doesn't sink you?
Absolutely. So when you buy a single family home,
Hmm.
you pay the mortgage, which has principal and interest. You
Right.
pay the insurance, you pay the property tax. In some
Hmm.
nice neighborhoods, there is a small homeowners, for the neighborhood. It's not a condo, so it's very small. And then
Right.
you have repairs and vacancy. So because we like to buy brand new homes, repairs become a very small to negligible factor for quite a few years because they're brand new.
Yes.
Vacancies, so there is a paradox here. The markets that I like to buy in the Sunbelt states are already very strong on having very low vacancy. The
Hmm.
percentage of renters is now higher than ever. So
Oh.
many people choose, especially millennials and Gen Z. While I look at the fixed rate mortgages like an amazing gift, many
Mhm.
younger people look at them, oh, it's like a ball and chain. I don't want to have a mortgage. I want to rent and be free to move. Okay. Now, as the media has been scaring people now with the rates being so quote unquote high, because let me tell you something. When I
Yeah.
started investing, the rates were 14%. Now at
Hmm.
6, they are still laughably low, but yes, much higher than 3. So as the media is scaring people, um, of course, people are more hesitant to buy. The builders get more motivated to sell us things, but I mean, this is again, it's a sweet spot now where if we want to buy, we can easily buy. But it's always been the right time to buy. When I started and the rates were 14, it was a
Hmm.
good. Why? 2 years later, when the rates went down to 12, I
Right.
refinanced down to 12. The rates went down to 9.9, single digit. Everybody was yelling, single, refinance to 9.9. You can always, the 30-year loan is not only a miracle gift. If the
Yeah.
rates go down, you can always refinance it down.
Right.
Sometimes when I talk, there's a little voice in my head that said, no, that's too good. That's too good. It's too good to be true. But we know that it is true.
That is amazing. Now, when it comes to, a lot of people have rent anxiety. People say, I'll wait for the lowest rates. What's your framework to decide buy now versus wait?
Okay, so again, I said when the rates are perceived as higher, like now, that
Yeah.
from my experience over 41 years, 6 plus is actually super low.
Yeah. Yeah.
My first 20 years buying, if you told me that you'll give me a loan at 7.5%, I'll be dancing in the streets. So, I mean, again, it's all relative. But I mean, I'm saying it's better to buy when the perception, by the media especially, is that
Yeah.
it's not a good time to buy, it's a good time to buy. Because then when the rates go down, as I said before, you refinance.
Right.
Rather than wait for the rates to go down and then everyone is competing with you, the
Yeah.
prices are shooting up and it's much harder to buy.
That's an excellent answer. Now, when it comes to math, when does financing help and when is it better to keep the note and the prepaid principal?
Well, again, I feel that definitely if the rate is 2% lower, it's
Hmm.
worthwhile refinancing.
Okay.
Refinancing is not free, but the
Yeah.
lenders know how to build it into the loan. So you're actually paying for the refinance over the entire term of the loan. And because
Yeah.
of the time value of money, a dollar from 15 years from now is not the same as a dollar now. It's much less. So, yeah,
Hmm.
2% definitely worthwhile refinancing. 1.5%, it's still good. 1%, maybe it's not quite worth it, depending on the lender and what it gives you. But the ability to refinance down is always nice. Like I said, my first 30 homes back in the 1980s were at 14%. And I'm very
Yeah.
glad I bought them. If I did nothing else but buy the 30 homes with 14, percent, it would have retired me very, very well. Of course, The rates, like I said, are refinanced to 12, to 9.9, to 7.5. They started at 14.
Right, right. Now, if rent flattens or a recession hits, how does the fixed payments help you survive that cycle?
This is an amazingly good question. So, because I've been doing it for decades, I've
Hmm.
been through several cycles of up and down,
Right.
including the major cycle of up in 2004, 5, 6, and the
Hmm.
major recession 2008, 9, 10. And from experience, I now know what to do when a recession hits.
Right.
And the answer is, once again, the hardest action for a human being to do. Nothing. Do nothing. Why? Why am I saying that? Here, I discovered that very counterintuitively, during a recession, the rents are actually very stable and strong. Do you know why? Suppose you have a rental home and
Hmm.
there's a family living in the home and they've been saving up for a down payment and they were just about to give you a notice that they're not going to renew their lease because they want to buy their own home. All
Right.
of a sudden, a recession hits.
Hmm.
Media says, oh my God, this bank is collapsing, the economy is collapsing. So there's a conversation that goes on in the home with this family. And typically, the conversation starts with the word honey. It goes, honey, we were thinking of buying a home, but there's a recession brewing outside. I may lose my job. You may lose my job. We can't afford to buy a home. We're staying
Right.
put. Of course, they have children going to school, so they stay and rent. Multiply this scenario by millions, and during a recession, the rents are very stable.
Right.
So the thing to do is nothing. Now, it's not easy. The media will scare the hell out of you. Your
Right.
home may go down in value below the loan value that's underwater. You say, my God, I'm giving the bank the home. No, just do nothing. I learned it from very hard experience over 3 cycles of up and down.
Mm. Oh, that's an excellent view. Now, what's your rule for reserves? Like how many months of PITI and expenses should investors hold?
Yes. So your questions are great, by the way. So I when I began, I was not as experienced, and I kept a reserve for every property, at least 3 months of principal, interest, taxes, and insurance for the unexpected. And then, because I was young and I wanted to use my money to buy homes, I said, I already own dozens of homes, and every home with those reserves, a lot of my meager still cash is being parked and doing nothing. So I
Yeah.
changed the way I thought. I was still working in Silicon Valley, meaning good salary, good credit, all of that. I went to
Hmm.
several banks and I said, look, I have good credit, good salary. Give me a credit line.
Hmm.
So several banks gave me a credit line. Then I took all my reserve cash and
Hmm.
used it as down payments to buy more homes. And I said the credit lines are there in case I need to draw on them for the unexpected.
Ah, I see. Now, when it comes to insurance, taxes, HOAs, how do you pressure test a deal for increases?
Well, increases are sometimes not predictable because,
Hmm.
well, we're not buying, condos. Condos, the homeowners association plays a major part, and you don't know how they're going to raise their fees, and sometimes they have a one-time uh, repair for the whole property, and you have to pay. But for single-family homes, if there is a homeowners association, it's basically just to make sure you don't paint your home black with red polka dots, and that the neighborhood stays. It's very minor, so that's
Yeah.
almost negligible. In terms of property taxes, it's always a bittersweet thing. If the property goes up in value, hooray,
Mhm.
hooray, we are richer. But guess what? The property taxes are higher too.
Yeah.
Insurances have been fraught, especially in several states. mostly in California and in Florida, but also in some states like Louisiana. But surprisingly, there are states like, in Oklahoma, in Arizona, where the insurance rates are very stable and they're not very high. So
Yeah.
in Florida, it's becoming a bit of an issue. But
Hmm.
strangely, remember I said we like to buy brand new homes. Even in Florida, the brand new homes have to pass such rigorous codes to withstand the winds and the hurricanes that the insurance on them is surprisingly low.
Ah.
But we will help you with it. When I chose not to retire,
Mm-hmm.
I needed to find balance in my life. So I make music in my home studio, which is in there. By the way, you can find my music on all the platforms, Spotify, YouTube. Just put my name. And then I also have a health and wellness podcast. I was always very interested. I interview people from all over the world, amazing researchers and doctors. And then I dedicate more than half my time to this. So dedicating my time to this also means anyone who is listening now, I
Yeah.
will talk to you personally. I'm very motivated by changing your future because that's my way of having fun and, employing all that I've
Ah.
learned on behalf of people. So just
Mhm.
get in touch with us, info at ICG Get in touch with us. They will set up a meeting with me personally to talk about what you do. I'll connect you to the teams we have in the various markets, hold your hand. We have a lot of people who work with us who are too busy to do anything. We work with foreigners, from other countries.
Yeah.
Still, I will help anybody. The reason I have not retired is because I feel the message that I have, which I shared here, is life changing.
Now, when it comes to exit strategy, do you hold forever, like 1031 exchange or sell or deploy? How do you choose?
I'm just, I'm just, your questions, good, very good questions. All right, exit strategy. So there are several. One, I already told you in the example, I talked about the guy in Silicon Valley who bought 19 homes. 13 years later, he saw his mortgages were so tiny. He sold 5 of the 19 homes, paid off the loans on the 14, retired with the 14 homes free and clear. That's one exit. And one other exit you just mentioned, never sell. Never sell. The loans will pay down anyway, after 12 or 13 years, they get to be tiny, but sometimes I even pay tiny, tiny loans. I just pay them off. Never sell. So one day we all seems like we actually at some point we pass away. It seems to be a universal rule. So then it goes to our heirs on a step up basis with no tax for 99% of people. So that's
Right.
very, so not doing anything, never doing an exit, never selling is also good. Another example I related before, when your tenants or somebody says, you know what, I want to buy this house from you. I'll give you a good offer. And you say, okay, I sell one house, I buy 3 or 4 brand new
Yeah.
ones. I'm still keeping building my estate. And
Hmm.
then sometimes people say, okay, my child was accepted to Harvard. I make too much money to get any aid or anything like this. It's going to cost hundreds of thousands of dollars for the 4 years.
Yeah.
Let me sell one of my homes. Boom, Harvard. I don't. In the case of the people who bought a lot of homes like me, you don't even know that home is missing.
I love it. Now I'm just going to shoot a question at you. So 15-year versus 30-year. When would you ever?
Ah, I could absolutely. You're too much. You are taking. You just took me to the joyous place of not only explaining 30 years versus 15, but we are going to use this opportunity to talk about the 50-year loan.
Okay.
Remember, I come from an engineering and high tech background. I used to teach at Stanford. So we are going to talk logic here. Can you pay off the 30-year loan in 15 years if you wanted? You can.
Hmm.
Can you pay off the 15-year loan in 30 years if you wanted? No, you cannot. That means the 30-year loan actually includes the 15-year loan inside of it. You can
Right.
pay the 30-year loan in 15 years, in 11 years, in 7 years, in 27 years, any number between 0 and 30. So the 30-year loan already includes the 15-year inside of it. Why is
Right.
it superior? Because the payments on the 30-year loans are lower. So you can make payments. You have a 30-year loan now. You make payments to pay it off in 15 years. Higher
Yeah.
payments. You make them, you make it 1 month. All of a sudden, there's a medical emergency, something happened. You can easily revert back to the lower payment of the 30-year schedule. It gives
Right.
you much more flexibility, and you can still pay it off in 15. It's superior to the 15-year loan. Now, people
Right.
will tell me two things back. One, but on the 15-year loan, I get a better rate. Yes, not enough to justify the unbelievable flexibility of the 30-year fixed rate. And the second thing is, but with a 30-year term, I pay millions of dollars in interest over the 30-year. Okay, so there's this little thing called the time value of money. As I
Hmm.
said before, a dollar 27 years from now is not the same as a dollar now. Pennies on the dollar. People forget that. So it's really not a big deal. Also, I said in 12 to 13 years, your loan is so tiny, you can just pay it off already and be done with it. So you're not going
Right.
to necessarily keep it for 30 years. The 30-year loan is superior to the 15-year loan. However, let me go at it from another logical standpoint. Let's pretend, only pretend, because it's not true, for a
Hmm.
second, that the 15-year loan is better than the 30-year loan. Well,
Hmm.
using the same logic, the 10-year loan would be better than 15.
Right.
Same logic, 5 would be better than 10. 1 would be better than 5. So get
Yes.
no loan, just buy cash. That's the best, but we know it's not. Now let's
Right.
go the other way, which is true. The 30-year loan is superior to the 15-year loan. Using the
Hmm.
same logic, the 40-year loan is better than the 30-year loan. The
Hmm.
50-year loan is better than the 40. So the 50-year loan is actually better than the 30-year. Why? You can pay it off in 30 years or in 15 years or in 7 years, but it gives you such a low payment if you want. So, when all those, experts in the media are
Hmm.
hammering down and killing that the idea that the government has for the 50-year loan is so bad because number one, people are going to pay so much interest over 50 years, neglects the time value of money. After 12 to 14 years, the loan is going to be like a joke anyway. You can even pay it off, number one. And number two, you can pay the 50-year loan off in 30 years, in 20 years. So they're not giving people credit for being mature adults who say, I
Yeah.
have a 50-year loan, but I can pay it off in 20.
Right.
They treat us like children who are too stupid to do anything. And that's very condescending. The 50-year loan is good. The 30-year loan is good. The 15-year loan is good, but you're bound to the higher payments. And if you have a month of an emergency, you still have to make the higher payment.
Right. That's so true. Excellent answer. So when you have the ARM versus the fixed, why not chase a teaser rate?
Okay. Now, I already talked about the many benefits of having a loan that is fixed
Hmm.
and everything else in the economy just goes up and up and up and up and up. So your loan by inflation is your best friend. It makes your loan tinier and tinier in real dollars. So now
Right.
you're saying there's a teaser rate. Now, let me ask you, how many years is the teaser rate for? So
Hmm.
some people say I have a loan where I have a fixed, component for 10 years and then it
Right.
starts adjusting every year. Now, the starts adjusting every year part is very scary because we don't know
Yeah.
what the rates are going to be. I've seen rates at 14 and a few years before I started, it was 18. So it's too scary. But 10 years, some people say, within 7 years, I'm going to sell the home anyway. Fine. I still prefer the fixed rate loan because even if you had planned to sell the home in 7 years, maybe you'll change your mind. And now all of a sudden the adjustment period starts coming and you could be screwed. So it really depends. If you told me I'm giving you a teaser rate for 7 years and it's very low, maybe I'll take it because of that. But I
Right.
think to be safe, and in general, the fixed rate loans are better.
Oh, okay. Now, for best first market for a beginner, what is it?
Again, I already said buying in the Sunbelt states, large metropolitan areas that are affordable in the suburbs. Now, the markets that I'm buying in right now, in Oklahoma City and Tulsa, we can get home anywhere between $200,000 to the high $200,000 brand new homes. In Mobile, Alabama, from the high 200s to the low 300s. In Dallas, from the mid 200s to the low 300s. In Austin, from the high 200s to the low 300s. I think you're seeing a pattern. And in
Yes.
Raleigh, Durham, maybe from the high 200s to the mid 300s. So you can see for $250,000, you can buy a very good home. Now, if you buy in a place like in Oklahoma City, the property taxes are very low. So
Hmm.
between low property taxes and low prices in a
Yeah.
large metropolitan area, that's, by the way, we bought more than 2,000 homes in Oklahoma City over the past 21 years, 22.
Wow.
So, the property managers really like us. They aim to please us. Hence,
Yeah.
they aim to please you. So if you jump in and you call me up and you buy one home, let's say in Oklahoma City, the
Yeah.
property manager looks at you and he sees 2,000 homes. They really want
Right.
to please me and my staff. Hence, they want to please you.
Hmm. I love it. Now, what is the top red flag on a pro forma?
Pro forma in general, especially on larger properties. I used to buy, apartment complexes too and everything. I used to
Yeah.
call pro formas fiction. Pro formas are fiction. But in the case of single family homes, it's a lot simpler. You can actually talk to the property managers directly, and they say, this home should rent anywhere between 17 and 1900 bucks a month. And from the field. So it's not really so much pro forma when you talk about a single family home. It
Okay.
starts being more pro forma and maybe going into fiction when you buy apartment complexes and that kind of a thing.
Okay. Now, what's the one upgrade that protects cash flow the most?
Well, when you're buying brand new homes, no, upgrade is necessary. They already
Hmm.
come new. It's all under warranty. Maybe the builder bought down your rate, but in the future, you just go with the needs.
Hmm.
So, obviously, I started buying in the 1980s. I have properties now that I bought in the 1980s. I've already changed the air conditioner.
Yeah.
I've already changed roofs
Hmm.
and I've already changed water heaters. Those are the main things. And of course, when a tenant leaves, there is a sprucing up that needs to be done, sometimes more and sometimes less. All of these costs are built in to running a property, as the years go by, the rents keep going up with inflation. I'll give you an example.
Hmm.
Some of the first properties I bought in the 1980s were in Las Vegas. I
Hmm.
remember the rents. I think the rents were between $325 a month to $350. Today, I
Hmm.
still own some of them. The rents are $1,750, 1,800. Well, inflation.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I believe with all my heart, and again, I just was in another country and met those people who told me, we're living here, retired, thanks to these homes. Thank you so much. And so this is far from being a joke. My recommendation for people in general, start small, buy one home. Sometimes I get a call from somebody who says, I just sold the company. I want to buy 100 homes. I say, how
Hmm.
about you buy one? One. Because when you buy your one home, all you fear is, oh my God, I'm buying a home in Oklahoma. It's far away. Is the manager going to be there? Buy one home. Let the local manager lease the home. Let it become boring. Now, buying home number two is just a repetition of the same process. Buying home number four should be boring already. So start with one, start small.
Okay. Now, Adiel, listeners were promised five concrete actions. What are five things they could do this week to move forward to their first or next 30-year purchase?
Because I'm here and I've decided not to retire and I'm dedicated to changing people's lives, make use of me and my company and my teams all over the country. So, step number one, For 40 years now, we have a big event once a quarter. It used to be a live event near the San Francisco airport. I would bring all the market teams from all over the country, bring lawyers and CPAs, and I would take hundreds of questions, and people would come physically. With COVID, we moved it to Zoom and we shortened it to 4 hours. The next event we have is on December 6th. So
Mhm.
join us for that event. Go to our website, icgre.com, under events, and it's free. I want people to have this knowledge. At the same time, you can go to our website, ICGRE, and set up a meeting with me personally, or send us an email at info@icgre.com. I will talk to you. Then we'll talk about your situation, where you are. I'll connect you to the right markets. You'll work with the local teams. Maybe you'll go and visit, which I love when people do, and you'll
Yeah,
get on your way to buy your first home.
I love that. I love that. Now, you also are an author. Can you tell us about some of your books and about the new book that's coming out soon?
Yeah. So the first book I wrote came out in 2001. It was called Remote Control Real Estate Riches because again, I own a very large number of homes. I refuse to fix toilets. I refuse, no, managers do it for me, remote control. And then I was invited to do a PBS, or a public television, as they like to call themselves, a special. And for the special, I wrote two books. One of them was called Remote Control Retirement Riches, which is also the name of the show, which I'll
Hmm.
be happy to share the show with anyone. It's a very high production value. And then I wrote another book called, Invest, Then Rest. Again,
Hmm.
you buy those homes, you let inflation do its job. Then I renewed one of the Remote Control Retirement Riches book recently, and that's a book that I think that people should get, as a reference. Just go to Amazon, my name, Remote Control Retirement Riches, and get this book. I also, because of my podcast on health and wellness, wrote two books on health and wellness, issues, with many experts writing a chapter, and I was invited to do a PBS special on that. Recently, I'm finishing a book. I just finished it. It's going to be out in February, about my crazy travel. I traveled the world in my 20s. I did only two things. I got my degrees and traveled, the world. So many adventures. I wanted to
Wow.
write a book. Now I finished it, so it should be out very soon.
I love it. I love it. And they can find all these books on Amazon?
Yes. Well, that book is going to go. It's going to be out probably in February. But all the other books, just plug my name and you'll find it on Amazon.
And can you tell us about the services that you provide?
Yes. So again, I and my staff have established in all the markets in the country that I consider to be the good places to buy, we have an infrastructure locally of local property management firms who really aim to please us because they get so much business from us. Hence,
Yeah.
as I said before, they aim to please you. I already said that. And then we have a local broker team also really wanting to work with us because they get so much business. They are local. They know every nook and cranny. They know the builders. They can negotiate with the builders. So they will work with you. We connect you to those people. Now, they all know that I and my staff are looking at the whole thing from above. So if my investors have an issue and everything, they write to us. Trust me, nobody likes to get an email from me. What's going on with this guy? Why aren't you responding to him in a timely manner? Stuff like
Yeah.
that. So we,
Mhm.
we add another layer of security, but basically we've set up an infrastructure that enables people to buy. And I will take them through it. And we try to make it as easy as possible.
I love it. I love it. This is amazing. This has been an outstanding episode with you. I really learned a lot. I think you're wonderful. I think your knowledge really has to be spread across even more so because I don't think people realize how easy it could be. People look at this and they look at real estate and they look at investing, especially in when it comes to homes or any type of brand new homes, especially, and they don't see the value because they think it's too complex. They don't think they have enough of money. They don't know how to do it. They don't know where to start and they don't know when to end. And they it's just like too overwhelming. And the way society makes you think, it's virtually impossible. If you're not a millionaire, you can't do it. And that's I think the ideal thought in most people's mind is that you have to have a ton of money in order to do something like you're talking about, is reinvesting in new homes in the suburbs and being able to, rent them out and reestablish yourself and get on these fixed loans and even increase the business as it goes along and really set yourself up for retirement and maybe help your family out along the way and make it a fun-filled project that doesn't have to be so difficult. I think this is amazing.
You don't have to be a millionaire to do it. You can start as a teacher. You can become a millionaire by doing it. And by the way, thank you for the compliment on the content, but I have to give you a compliment right back. Your questions were just amazing. Amazing. They took me through the little journey here in a great way.
Oh, thank you so much. I do appreciate that. And I appreciate you coming on the show. This has been a wonderful episode. And you are a man with a lot of wisdom and knowledge in this area. And I'm very excited to learn more about you. And I'm also very excited to learn more about your health and healing expertise as well. You're a man of many hats and you wear
You
them
can
very
find the
well.
podcast as well as my music, as well as it's everywhere on all platforms. But make sure you guys that are listening join us for our big event on December 6th. All the markets will be there. They will explain about them. They will show properties. I will take many, many questions. We will have lawyers and CPAs and people. Those are great events. So I want you to be there with us.
I love that. Oh, that's wonderful. And what is your podcast name so everybody knows so where they can look for it?
I hate to say it's not going to sound as creative a name. It's the Adiel Gorel Show.
I like it. I like it. Easy to remember, and everybody who watches this is going to know what it's about. So this is wonderful. This has been a great episode. Thank you so much for being on this show. I appreciate you and everything you do.
Thank you, Stacy. It's been a pleasure.
You have a great day.